Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther. I have been working on my Aquarius or INTJ ebook, Astro-Psychological Deep Dive Analysis ebook, and I've been doing video presentations to go along with my book. So we are now into section 4 of the Aquarian or INTJ ego. Astrologically, that involves the fall, and we have Pluto in fall. Psychologically, we have, I don't know if I can do that from my computer. I just got a request from my daughter. I'm gonna see if I can pull this off from my laptop. It may have worked, and she's calling me now. So anyways, I am always forever editing out these little situations. I may or may not. So anywho, astrologically we have Pluto in fall, and then psychologically we have extroverted sensing and the inferior cognitive function, the inferior slot. So I've already gone over the first 3 sections. The ego is broken down into the 4 sections. Astrologically, we have for an Aquarius, ruling Saturn, co-Uranus. And then we have Neptune, co-Mercury in exaltation. Left field, we had the Sun. And now we are in section 4, the fall. So I hope you have been enjoying this series. I'm very excited about it because I am an Aquarian or INTJ Mercury 11th house. So this is my thinking in communication. So I think I'm going to dive deep into this today. I don't know. Extroverted sensing deals with physics, mechanics, and it is actually represents short-term memory. SE represents the 5 senses. So it's a warmer energy, but it is in the inferior here. It is our objective outer perception decision-making function. It is an extroverted one, but it is in a pessimistic slot, being in the inferior. So extroverted exploration. Extroverted sensing seeks extensive outward stimulation through the 5 senses, new sights, sounds, tastes, experiences, sensations. It consumes to experience and occurs by sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. It is attuned with reality and it's very concrete, but Aquarians are abstract. And so this is in a more inferior position. So they are not attuned with reality. Normally, it's harder for them to do so. So SE represents experiencing the immediate context, noticing changes and opportunities for action, being drawn to act on the physical world, accumulating experiences, scanning for visual reactions of relevant data, recognizing the way things have always been, stabilizing with a predictable standard, seeks extensive outward stimulation. Typically athletic, likes to show physical capabilities. And I wrote in, can interrupt others in conversations. I unfortunately have a bad habit of doing that because when I have a strike of whatever, I have a strike of an idea or whatever the case may be, I am like, hold that thought. I just thought of something, and if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget it. It's so frustrating. Having SE in the inferior is extreme ADHD. All right, so extroverted sensing is a perceiving function and represents a process of becoming aware of tangible information in the immediate context, noticing changes and opportunities for action, being drawn to act on the physical world, scanning for visible reactions and relevant data, like I said, recognizing what is, immersing in the present context. So extroverted sensing High fire signs or artisans, they have, they have high SE, the fire signs, so they are always living in the moment and they're extremely connected with their bodies, unlike the air signs. So SE also represents, it represents short-term memory. High SE users are normally very tactical in the moment. They can just take obstacles as they come and overcome them very quickly. Aquarians, on the other hand, due to extroverted sensing inferior, they're more strategic. They're not as actively making a decision up front, being tactical. They need time to strategize. So how SE or extroverted sensing shows up. So high SE users, so people that have high SE would be like the hero and parent, having extroverted sensing in the hero or parent cognitive functions. So I'll give you a little bit of taste examples and a taste of what a high SE user, so someone good at extroverted sensing, what that represents. So they have a high kinesthetic intelligence, have masterful control over their physical bodies and the environment around them, are incredibly attuned to their surroundings, and excel at hands-on activities. As children, they were spending all their time physically exploring the world around them, are confident and adventurous, always ready for an exciting challenge or a new escapade, have a reputation for being thrill seekers. Their dominant SE seeks variety and physical stimulation. And I know you're probably repulsed at all of this due to SE being the inferior. So many are in the athletic arena or in the performance arts. They like to take risks, have a natural awareness of what their body can or can't do, paired with quick reflexes and an ability to keep their wits in a crisis. They know how to see opportunities quickly and pounce on them before others do. They can be skilled entrepreneurs and lawyers, as they can react to ever-changing arguments with skill and a memory for detail. High SE users trust their impulses and believe enjoying life to its fullest extent, are fun-loving and optimistic. High SE users take the time to enjoy their environment and the chances they are given without feeling like they have to constantly push everything into the future context. SE users are very hands-on people and tend to be kinesthetic learners, so hands-on. They learn best by doing and would rather just get right into something and work with it with their hands than read a manual or spend a lot of time in intense study. So Aquarians are the total opposite due to having extroverted sensing inferior. They would prefer to plan and strategize something out before hands-on diving in. They're not exactly aware of how far or hard they can push their bodies and are not incredibly attuned with their surroundings. So NI is on an axis with SE, so you'll always find introverted intuition with extroverted sensing. So NI dominant types, so this does reflect an Aquarius because they are an NI hero and SE inferior. So NI Dom, they are all about the internalizing of meaning. So NI stores conclusions. On a subconscious level, they collect data in the moment, which makes a vague book of text, yet they are pulled back from the moment and are living in the bigger meaning above the physical. They are constantly experiencing the meaning of things rather than what is happening right now. They're not collecting what is and is the biggest reason they cannot remember all the small details. Their ideas replace the physical in a sense, so when they look at those physical things, they cannot take it in, where their judgmental ways comes into play. They try to find meaning and add reasonings or deep dive into everything even when it's not there. So NI expects deep connections, the meaning of the thing. It doesn't matter what they're physically doing necessarily. They can seem very stubborn due to not realizing not everyone has the same meanings or thinking. So NI dominant types like Aquarians, they need intellectual clarity. accurate interpretation of perceptions, and they're very visionary in their insights. So where were we? Extroverted sensing within the 12 astro-psychological personality types. Okay, so we've got Aquarius or the INTJ and Pisces, the INFJ. They both have extroverted sensing or SE inferior. Okay, so how does that play out for these two personality types? All right, so remember that the inferior function is very difficult to control. It will become introverted and depressed. Emotions are very uncomfortable and hard for them to align with their values here. The cognitive attitude of the inferior: lost, missing, repressed, indulgent, avoidant, crutches, addictions, fears, insecurities, sensitivities, touchy, defensive, protective, and so on and so forth. Naivete, extremism, delusional, and neurotic. So it is a pessimistic function. It takes more energy to use here. It has a negative slant. This is where our fears and insecurities are. Can be very difficult to control, where we can feel embarrassed, guilty, and defensive. Okay, so telling an INTJ or Aquarius or INFJ Pisces they are unrealistic is one of the best ways to trigger these types. So introverted intuition is abstract, and they can live in a dream state. Imagining the force of reality all around them can be very terrifying for them. They logically know what they want is unrealistic, or it can be, so they're very high, very, very grandiose dreams can be unrealistic, or their idealism can be an issue, and they can get very defensive about it. They have a deep desire to bring out their introverted intuition visions into reality, but it is a very scary thing to do. They can be especially afraid of making mistakes. So both of these personality types are very perfectionistic due to SE inferior. SE is practical, and so Aquarians and Pisces have a hard time picking up all the details in their environment, and they don't necessarily have mechanical aptitude. Now, I will say Aquarians definitely have a lot more mechanical aptitude than Pisces, but Pisces are willing to learn, and when they are willing to learn, they can definitely master whatever the case may be, what they're working on. So presenting them with concrete facts that don't match their introverted intuition or introverted thinking for a Pisces can be very difficult for them, or Aquarius, even though Aquarians have TE or extroverted thinking. Their physical appearance is a real insecurity for them. So physical reality and time is not really on their radar. Timelines escapes them, so both don't have a long-term memory for timelines and details. They don't have a good sense of self, emotionally and physically. Now, Aquarians are more emotionally in tune with themselves than Pisces, but they both have a terrible sense of themselves physically. They can, or you can be like me and like quadruple down on my insecurities and work on that. Depends on who you are and how you were raised and your goals and so on and so forth. But anyway, they can tend to over exaggerate, not because they're trying to be deceiving, but they can have issues with ages, recalling ages, timelines, recalling memories and experiences. And they can go through times of spending a lot of money. When they get into the grip, wanting all the physical pleasures of extroverted sensing, they don't know their own body's limits. And this can be with food, physical activities. They tend to zone in on whatever their focus is on and zone out of everything going on around them. When they get pulled away from what they are doing, it is a nasty flash of reality, and they can tend to lash out at others around them. Yeah, it's I I adore fire signs or the artisans because and even Virgos can give you a really good smack of reality in your face. Virgos are giving you the hard details, And then fire signs are living in the moment, and they can really like smack you with, hey, where are you at? Are you here physically? I always joke because I'm like, God, you just gave me a smack of reality right in the face. I think it's hilarious, to be honest. Both personality types, Aquarians and Pisces, can tend to injure themselves because they aren't paying attention to their surroundings or bodies. Yeah, I met an Aquarius, I think it was like 2 years ago, at my job, and she is an Aquarius. She told me what her birthday was, and I was like, oh my gosh. I just love meeting Aquariuses because they're like, they were really hard for me to find for a while, but now I'm surrounded by them in my work environment. It's really wild. I've got 4 Aquarians now around me that I work with. So, wow, what are the odds of that? But this lady that I met, I freaking adore her personality so freaking much. I love her. She's married to a Scorpio, Aquarius, INTJ with the ENFP or Scorpio, been married forever. I have an Aquarian mind and I'm with an ENFP Scorpio. So, we kind of like started like connecting due to that. It was awesome. And the first day I met her, well, it probably wasn't. I normally wait before I like get into, hey, what's your personality? I like to be around someone for a while and then guess and then ask and see how right I was with picking up on their energy and thinking and communication. But she tried to deny the fact that she was so clumsy and not in tune with her physical environment and her work environment. And she denied it the first couple of days that I knew her. And I just flat out was like, yeah, I need GPS everywhere I go. And I'm like hyper aware of my environment because I'm so like aware that I don't pay attention either. And a couple days later, she told me a story about her leg. Like she was wearing shorts and she had just this like, I could tell that it was like god awful accident. And she finally admitted that, hey, yeah, I ran into something on my shin hardcore because I wasn't paying attention. And we both had some hysterically deep laughs about it because I was like, I get you, you get me. I understand that you're like a goldfish and don't pay attention to your physical environment. It's a problem. It can be. So Aquarians and Pisces can both have issues with sleeping, not being in tune with their circadian cycle, sleep-wake cycle. And they need to do things in order to actually drain their energy and get out of their heads. So I practice meditation a lot. I went from guided meditation to other forms of meditation. Now I'm into like binaural beats. I've been into that for a long time. So that can really help me sleep. It's an issue. Sleeping is definitely, I'm a night owl naturally, and I think most of these personality types are night owls. So, yeah, it's a problem. I admit it. They can be very overactive in their minds. They feel like they need a vacation from their minds through us, the inferior. They will want to start indulging in their inferior function when they're older and won't exactly know how. Okay. So I have another big section on this. I'm trying to find it. I'm in the Pisces book right now. I need to add a lot of this to my Aquarius book. I just don't want to miss anything. There's so much. I just had to really hammer the inferior because it's like the most unconscious part of my personality. And I really just wanted to hammer on this. So this will probably be a long video. Hopefully it's organized enough and coherent. I'm always concerned about that. Okay. I did get into the big 5 for a while. I'm in my INFJ Pisces book in the inferior section. So INFJs are highly varied on neuroticism or emotional stability. Now, this is going to hit Pisces harder than Aquarians or INTJs, but it can both be a thing for SE inferior. So, low FE or FI. So, neuroticism or emotional stability, Conjoin that with the FE and FI, extroverted feeling and introverted feeling. So it's kind of like on the emotional plane. I connected those dots. So they both can tend to withdraw or become volatile due to disconnecting to reality, living in the future. So both personality types definitely disassociate, disconnect, don't express emotions. Pisces are more concerned about others' emotions and they're totally unaware of their own. And so it's like an outer body experience as a Pisces. It's totally an outer body experience, as well as Aquarians. You know, the introversion, the not being in tune with your body or emotional world is an outer body experience pretty much at all times. I really practice grounding myself. I'm just like, my biggest thing is like GPS. I use GPS every freaking where I go. I never admitted it. Like back in the day when I was going to a friend's house, like I would print off MapQuest and I would do it to there and then back home. It was that bad. And then I finally got a GPS. I still have my old GPS and now it's on our phone, so that's great too. But yeah, like I just cannot remember street names. Like I go by landmarks and I still suck. Like I just am totally like I just at this like I will admit it. Like I can't I do not want to use mental energy on grounding myself in reality of like how do I get somewhere even though I've been there 20 million times. It's so frustrating. But yeah, the disconnect from reality, that's a huge, huge thing. The physical layout of the land, like I couldn't stand history, like the timelines, trying to remember people's names and the timeline of things and dates. That was awful. All right, so here we are in neuroticism or emotional stability. So they tend to withdraw and become volatile, living in the future rather than the moment, becoming too introverted. That's a problem for both personalities. Going too hard on taking care of others before self. That is more Pisces. Alienating self and others or not tapping into inferior SE enough to be able to handle new experiences. So both tend to close themselves off a lot, living in fear, not taking care of maintaining physical reality. So that could be your vehicle, your maintenance stuff, physical body, your own physical maintenance or maintenance of whatever is mechanical around you, your car, your house, whatever. Maintenance can be an issue, keeping up with maintenance. Living in fear, not taking care of maintenance, escapism, or living their lives for others can be a problem. So highly neurotic people have more frequent mood swings and a greater tendency to worry, are more easily irritated and susceptible to anxious or depressive moods. Now, I do think that Aquarians and Pisces are pretty high strung. They're introverted, so we can hide it better than other personalities to a degree. At least I think I can, and I know I do to a degree, but I know that people definitely know that I'm like OCD, ADHD, and high strung. I'm like swinging all over the place. I try to maintain, but it leaks out and it is what it is. But let's see. Okay, so individuals average and withdrawal may occasionally suffer from anticipatory anxiety, but are generally not impeded by it. So most people can handle new, uncertain, and unexpected situations, threatening or complex situations quite well. But Pisces and Aquarius, they have a lot of mental anxiety over anticipated things, social events, planning for things. They're living in the future and they're forever stuck in their heads anticipating. Like becoming a mother, I'm going to give this personal example. Becoming a mother, it's like I try so hard to make sure I have everything like available to me in case of an emergency or like whatever. I'm always trying to foresee multiple things happening and what I'm going to do. I need to be prepared because there's always going to be something chaotic or an emergency. Like I always have band-aids on me. I'm always like you know, I raise my kids to be independent, but in the same breath, like, I'm always watching out. It's like that, watching out for emergency situations, like you're always anticipating something crazy happening. Yes, it's definitely a thing. Always anticipating something is going to happen, so it brings on a lot of high-strung anxiety. Okay, so people with average levels of withdrawal sometimes feel sad, lonesome, disappointed, and grief-stricken, but not too deeply and not for too long. They experience normal levels of doubt and worry, embarrassment, self-consciousness, and discouragement in the face of threat and punishment. So, I don't know. Aquarians and Pisces both tend to withdraw a lot. And I think both can really go through periods of withdrawing from other people, not letting other people in, dealing with things, not asking for help, just kind of being in this anxious, frightened type of mindset. Withdrawal is a issue. Both can be pretty irritable due to this high-strung, anticipated anxiety. I'm not sure how much I want to get into all that. Okay, so that's all I added for the big five. So INFJs are Pisces and INTJs Aquarius both have extroverted sensing inferior. These types are said to be the most rare of all the personality types. Both can have issues with getting out and socializing with others, with INTJs or Aquarius having the most difficulties. FI child has, for an Aquarius, endless sympathy for other people, but they get drained by other people pretty quickly. They only have so much energy they can give to others. INFJs with their FE parent are the true empaths and tend to have an easier time socializing, whether that be perceived or not. Pisces are mutable, and so they're more adaptable and changeable to other people, while Aquarians are fixated on their own thinking and intellectualism. Both are abstract, but Aquarius is pragmatic, while Pisces is affiliative. So Aquarians are going to make decisions on their own, not check in with the group. And Pisces are affiliative, so they're going to check in with the group before making decisions. And Pisces are more in tune with people's motivations and intentions. Unlike Aquarius, Aquarius is not in tune with other people's intentions. They can be used that way. But Aquarius is very systematic, so they are able to streamline systems, business operations, whatever the case may be. So those are the two differences, some differences between Pisces and Aquarius. So, all right. So INFJ dips into FI from a TI perspective, relates to the rationale. INTJ dips into TI from a FI perspective, rationalizes upon which they relate. Okay, so each type will always have stored in memory and have in mind. So INTJs, they are storing the conclusions and have the emotional logic in mind. INFJs or Pisces, they are storing the conclusions and always have the rationale in mind. Each type will always need to rediscover or to be reminded of. So Aquarius, they need to rediscover the rational logic and be reminded of the sensory details. INFJs, they will always need to rediscover the emotional logic and be reminded of the sensory details. So NI is abstraction for its own sake, independent of any kind of concrete, vast amounts of internal information in a synergistic unison. So, Pisces struggles with storing and consuming extroverted thinking, while Aquarian struggles with storing and consuming extroverted feeling. So INTJs are coming from an independent introverted feeling center, and Pisces are coming from a TI theoretical center. So INFJs are very theoretical, and Aquarians are very are coming from their own beliefs and values. All right, so INTJs can have a few different modes. So they can be hyper rational in nature, detached from introverted thinking. Their inner world is filled with various symbols and metaphors, experiential in nature, where introverted feeling and introverted intuition are fully engaged. Not that their inner world is irrational, but they try to relate upon the objective order of the external from them that is meaningful to them, but in a highly self-transformative, subjective manner. Mode 2, dipping into TI from an FI position. The FI is no longer as it was before, but it is dipping into TI in order to consult the frameworks that are meaningful to them in order to theorize and synergies internal concepts. This is when they're engaging FE in order to communicate these ideas with other people. Then mode 3, the most unexplored state, may think they're not feeling. This mode comes from an unwillingness and from being tired when they don't want to engage in the internal dialogue in a deliberate manner, which is necessary to bring their convergent FI into consciousness. This is where their FI falls into a more unconscious state. In this state, they may report feeling cold or detached from their emotions. They feel that introverted feeling is in their control and it is their identity. It is their possession that they are very protective over, just like Pisces are protective over their introverted thinking, logic. They won't delegate their identity, but loses grasp on forming own logical framework without others' influence. They are concerned with a specific objective cerebral situation. This is why they can find a lot of meaning from which they gaze upon. Of all the types, they have the strongest and most intense relationship with objective components, physical objects, concepts, work of art, virtual landscapes. So I know that Pisces and INFJs, because they have a hard time with their long-term memory, they tend to store memory in physical objects. It's like totems, so pictures or souvenirs, whatever the case may be. They will store memories in objects or music or art. All right, so I'm going to go through this first and the other one. So extroverted sensing grip examples can have a tendency to talk themselves out of doing things or have extreme fear of starting something new. This personality type needs practice more than any other type besides. So Aquarians and Pisces both need to practice just yeah, so it's the social anxiety and starting new things. So Pisces and Aquarius are both finisher types. So once they do start something, they finish it and see it through. But both types realize that it takes a hell of a lot of effort and they're in it for the long haul. So if they start something, they know it's extremely time consuming. They're very perfectionistic. It's a lot of anxiety to start something. They're not a starter type. And they have performance anxiety and perfectionism and issues, and they can have a real failure to launch syndrome. And so they are not, they can both tend to procrastinate a lot. Can have a tendency to live through others rather than doing the things themselves. They can get stuck in reading, writing, and gathering information rather than actually going out and doing the things they're studying. Can study others even and get caught up in that rather than living their own lives and making things happen for themselves. They can be overconfident that they understand the truth about the world even when they are not experienced much of it. They need to learn to actually throw themselves in the physical doing and interacting with others. Tends to be oversensitive to perceived negative feedback that contradicts their ideas and beliefs. They can have a real issue with others criticizing them. They can hand out the criticism but has a hard time taking it in. Needs to learn to listen to others rather than floating off into space and thinking they are always right. They need to learn to be true to themselves, be honest about how they feel and what they want to do. Don't change those things to make someone else happy or to get admiration or to please others. Aquarians and Pisces can tend to play it safe and avoid people. Reality, expectations, and responsibilities can feel superior to earth-like things. That's for Pisces. Schedules, nurturing things, keeping in contact with others. So both can have a hard time reaching out to others because they are introverted, and it's a real issue. They have a hard time initiating conversations and initiating doing things with other people. They need to get out into the real world rather than stuck in their ideas about things. They can become obsessive about tracking objects, people, details, overcompensate for insecurity by excessively researching so that they can plan or organize every detail. This is a real issue. Rarely does anything work out the way we plan or want them to due to being so insecure with reality and their physical environment. It can really take away from having fun or even having the ability to fully trust others. Anxieties can overtake Pisces and Aquarius, so they can really live in their head in the future rather than enjoying the here and now. They are actually very strategic, but being this way can alienate others and others won't feel close to them. Can compulsively clean, arrange, rearrange their physical environment. They could become like an ISTJ or Capricorn and become very OCD. This can be a paranoia of how others perceive them. This can be a problem with their home environment, trying to control as much as possible, or even their physical appearance. They can be a real mirror hogs, worrying about how they come across to others. This can even get into bodybuilding. Hello, me. There are pros and cons to everything. If you feel like you need a mirror to connect to your body better when lifting, never feel bad for that. So, yeah, I'm a mirror junkie. I've always been a mirror junkie. I've always had a workout room full of mirrors. When I'm in the gym, I am in the mirror. I like to see my body so that I'm more connected to my body. And that's just the thing. Like, I understand that I'm not necessarily connected to my body very well, so I overcompensated by bodybuilding and being a mirror junkie for the longest time. It's a thing. For sure. All right, so that's it in my Pisces book. I'm going to swing over here to my Aquarian book and make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so NI DOMs for Pisces and Aquarius can be emotionally triggered in a variety of ways, such as feeling overwhelmed by the details of an unfamiliar physical environment, unexpected changes to their personal space, having factual errors pointed out to them in a way that implies carelessness or lack of forethought, being exposed or judged as lacking knowledge or insight, being forced to handle too many small details at once, lack of autonomy or personal space to engage in private activities, prolonged exposure to situations that encourage sensory overload like big crowds or noisy environments, being blindsided or confronted with unwanted surprises, feeling pressure to extrovert too much, frequent interruptions from others or the environment, working in environments that do not allow independent thought or expressions of creativity, not receiving proper recognition for insight or hard work, doing things that have no future prospects or significance for personal development, working with people who seem short-sighted or apathetic or inefficient, spending too much time in environments that lack structure or clear rules of conduct, uncertainty about the future, feeling a chronic lack of purpose, meaning, and direction in life. So these are ways that Aquarians and Pisces can get emotionally triggered. When they become stressed and mentally fatigued to the point where NI can no longer maintain its dominance, unhealthy SE urges urges manifest behaviorally are often unique to the individual and circumstances. They tend to abandon self-discipline and overindulge any impulsive whims that arise moment to moment, unable to regulate their own mental functioning because of losing sight of future consequences, even becoming emotionally volatile or explosive, raging at others, or trying to coerce people into falling in line with their unreasonable expectations. They might give into hedonistic temptations and overindulge in sensory pleasures like food, alcohol, drugs, sex, socializing, gaming, risky physical challenges. Because these short-lived experiences are an all too convenient escape from underlying emotional issues. Since these poor decisions tend to worsen life's difficulties, it becomes easy to spiral out of control, thereby exacerbating the urge to seek further sensory escape, as panic or anxiety about the future cannot be kept at bay. Their view of situations can become extremely narrow and unimaginative as they become hyper-focused on what certain facts mean, with a tendency to overthink details and misinterpret them in a negative, critical, biased, or pessimistic way, usually because they are only able to see the details that support their cynical suspicions, and this gradually erodes emotional well-being and self-assuredness because of getting poor results or making no progress. They may start to blame others, nitpick others' behaviors, or become extremely judgmental and inflexible in relationships. As a result, they might come to rely on negative coping behaviors like self-imposed isolation or sensory escape in order to protect or distance themselves from the perceived demands of the external world. In order to properly avoid a grip experience, it is essential that introverted intuitive DOMs learn the real value of the extroverted sensing perspective and the advantages it can confer. For NI DOMs, successfully emerging from a grip experience usually requires solitude and private space away from the demands of work to regain composure, avoiding giving them advice or unnecessary reminding them of negative experiences. Oftentimes, the immediate physical environment can trigger memories of stress, so a change of location or scenery might be required. NI-DOMs can also quiet the mind by utilizing productive and relaxing SE-related activities that do not require any focus on long-term outcomes or achievement. Whatever activities are chosen, they should accomplish two goals: to release and expend SE energy in a way that consciously emphasizes its worth and usefulness, rather than using SE to escape or avoid stress. To decrease the dominance of NI, thereby allowing it to relax and regain its natural flexibility and accuracy. So Koreans can use TE-related activities to improve their ability to engage with the external world through being planful, competent, and results-oriented, thereby building genuine confidence by working toward concrete goals. So yeah, I tend to overcompensate. I tend to plan everything out. When I bodybuilt, I always tracked my food, my macros, my micros, all my exercises, the weight, the set, how many this, how many that. I had graphs, charts, and that really helped me ground myself and feel productive. Okay, so ongoing type-related development for Aquarians and Pisces. So work on being more adaptable to changes in external circumstances. Use physical, sensual activities to relax rather than to escape stress. Set more realistic goals for yourself to avoid undue stress or anxiety. Use SE consciously to explain one's current awareness of a situation. Use SE adaptively by forming the habit of focusing on sensory information. Use SE to support NI by collecting evidence or experiences of the physical world and taking practical action towards goals. So task lists, breaking everything down definitely helps. I think a lot of Aquarians and Pisces they tend to deal with all of this disassociation and mental high-strung anxiety about the future by indulging in art. INTJs, I've realized a lot of them are architects. A lot of them do software programming. It's more of a technical type of deal. They can be artists as well, painting. I used to paint a lot and draw a lot. This type of thing really helps me. I always need to have a goal because I don't want to worry too much about the future. So it's nice to, dive into a hobby, whether that's writing books or fitness, whatever you're into. That's a really good way to get emotional things out, anxiety out. It's a good way to ground yourself and be creative. Try to keep a sense of humor. That's humongous. So, other difficulties and challenges with extroverted sensing inferior. So, Aquarians might find it challenging to be fully present and engaged in the immediate sensory world. They may be more focused on internal thoughts and future possibilities than on what's happening in the moment. The thought of making mistakes or not performing well in social situations or tasks can be a source of anxiety. They may be overly concerned with how they are perceived by others. Might be prone to dismissing sensory details or being unaware of their surroundings while engrossed in their thoughts. They might find it difficult to be spontaneous or express themselves physically, preferring to be more structured and analytical. Some Aquarians might seek escape from their inferior SE challenges by engaging in excessive activities like clubbing, loud social settings, or substance use as a way to numb the experience of the physical world. And this is actually pretty funny. I I used to love dancing, and I've heard someone else mention that INTJs or Aquarians can be really big on dancing. It's like normally they're very introverted and shy, but once you get them on the dance floor, you're like, damn, this, man or woman's a straight ninja. Dancing can be fun to get all that anxiety out and ground yourself back in your body. I highly suggest it. It's fun. Okay, so signs of inferior extroverted sensing in action: bumping into things, not paying attention to your surroundings, a strong desire to avoid making mistakes or looking bad in front of others, might prefer to make predictions or stick to their theories rather than actively engaging in new experiences. A really good suggestion if you're very shy, but you really need to get out into public is go to a coffee shop with your computer and just sit there alone. It'll be okay. Someone will eventually, an extrovert will come adopt you. That's a really good suggestion because we're so isolated. We isolate ourselves, we withdraw, we're focused on our goals and projects alone, and extroverting yourself can really be a good way to get out of a depressive state or anxious state. So seek out new experiences, go on an adventure, actively try new things and explore the physical world. Travel, hike, bike. Oh my God, I used to love bicycling. Oh my gosh. I love adventuring. It's definitely a thing. Go to a museum, learn something, get out in nature. Focus on activities that engage the senses, such as appreciating music, art, or nature, for sure. Pay attention to details and try to be more present in your immediate environment, so be mindful of your surroundings. Practice physical expression, such as sports, dancing, creative arts. Engage in activities that involve physical movement, yoga. Golly, I did yoga forever. 6 years. I was so into yoga for a long time. Challenge negative thoughts, work to overcome performance anxieties and fears of looking bad in front of others. I've worked on making videos like this, video presentations for a long time. I mean, it's been 10, 12 years now. And I'm finally feeling more confident in it. I'm okay with making mistakes. I still edit like crazy, but it's you just got to do it. Like, I was in a gathering phase for a very, very long time. I understand. You want the best information, you want to be coherent, you want to come across good or whatever, you want to present yourself a certain way. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. I flipped a mental switch 6 years ago. It was a good 6 years ago. I flipped this mental switch and I was like, regardless, like, other people, what they think and feel is not my responsibility. That's them, not me. I just had to, like, really flip a switch and be like, I shouldn't be so concerned with other people, because honestly, in all reality, they are not concerned with you. You might, like, I'm so shy. Like, I went to a car show this weekend and, like, I didn't get up by myself to go get something, a drink, because, like, I didn't want everyone to stare at me. Not that they really would. But, I'm just, like, in my head, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to go up there by myself because then everyone will look at me. Like, I'm shy. Like, it is what it is. Um, it's never truly going to go away, but yeah, you can get better at it. You will always have your, like, highs and lows. That's just life in general. And I think the biggest thing is just to tell yourself that really what other people think and feel is none of my, like, it's not my responsibility, and it's not, like, on me. It's not my business. It's really not my business. So, we can engage and talk with others, but don't constantly worry about what people think about you, because they're most likely not thinking about you. I can guarantee it. So just keep that in mind. That was a huge, I think it was 30. Yeah, I was like 29. Like, my Saturn return, I felt it. Like, 29, it hit me, and I'm just like, that's when I really flipped my mental switch, to be honest. I was like, I never really cared. It's such a weird thing. It's like, I don't really care what people think of me, but it's like, I want them to respect me and be respectful. And so it's like, yeah, it's just always going to be a problem. It really will always be a problem, but it's really not your business. Just keep telling yourself that, and you'll slowly realize that others are really not that concerned with you. Be concerned with yourself and your own, like, development. That's more important than what people think of you, because we're all human beings at the end of the day. Like, everyone is going to trip up when they're communicating. It's fine. We're human beings. We're not perfect. So, I think I covered a lot, to be honest. I'm probably 3 hours in at this point. So, is there anything else that I wanted to add in here? I think I really covered a lot of ground. This might be... Nope, I got it all. All right, so I toggle between 4 different things: notes, books, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think I covered enough for now in this video. And so I really, truly, I'm not sure exactly how my cadence was on this video. I was probably a little all over the place. It's very vulnerable. It is, the inferior function is a very vulnerable place. It is our most vulnerable in our ego. So I have been working on all of this stuff for a very long time. I've worked through a lot in my own life. We all have our own things. I understand that. Me personally, I had a terrible childhood. For a while, So I've had to deal with a lot of that inner work. And so I think that I was, I know that I was in extremes when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So I came from a difficult place to begin with. And so I think I was aware, I had to become very consciously aware of things at a very, very young age. But it took me on this journey. It's made me who I am now. And this stuff has helped me. I cannot even tell you. Studying astrology and psychology and putting all this together like this, even just learning about personality types, it's like we all individually have all of this like energy within us, and it's all based on percentage levels. And I can, whoever's watching right now, it's like you can be whatever personality type and you're still going to gain good wisdom and information and insight from this video alone. But I know a lot of people. I've studied this stuff for quite a long time, and I've talked to a lot of people, and people are really open to talking about this stuff, to be honest. Like, I make sure I'm communicating at people at their level. And so, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, Pluto, inferior cognitive function, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to put it that way. It's like normal people, like, that I'm communicating with, on a day-to-day basis. I'm not going to communicate that way. I'm going to tailor it differently and say it differently so that it's like a more normal conversation. But it's this stuff is real. It really is so real for, each personality type having their own virtue and vice, and, hero and inferior, and this stuff is real. And I'm so happy that we can like jump on the internet now and gain insight into this and communicate with each other and help each other out. I really do hope that you are enjoying this series. I will probably add a little bit more to it, and I'm going to tidy up my book. I'm going to edit this video throughout this entire week. Then I will, after I post this video, I am going to tighten up and edit my book and probably launch it a week after that. It's a lot, but this is very personal to myself, as I am an Aquarius, INTJ, Mercury, thinking and communication. This is very deep for me. The Pisces book was very deep for me. Aries, I've got a lot of those energies within me. And I do want to say that being an introvert and knowing other introverts, there's not many, but the ones that I do know, I hold them very close to my heart, because I know that introverts, like, their demon mode is hurting themselves. It's the withdrawal, it's the unhealthy habits, it's the hurting themselves, however that may be. It's a very difficult demon mode for introverts. They hurt themselves. And it's been very difficult to work through and understand. Thankfully, I have a really good family. I wouldn't be where I am today without my family. I've got such a good, solid family. And because I've had so much support from my family in my life, I'm able to be here doing what I am today. And if it weren't for that, I can't tell you that I would have made it. It's just been very difficult to work through all of this. Pisces and Aquarius, introverts in general can really indulge in addictions. That's just a part of self-inflicting, running away from reality. I had a 1.5-year stint myself when I was younger of indulging in those types of things, and I'm glad that I came out the other end. I've been sober for 16 years now, almost 17 years, and I take that very seriously to this day. And I know that a lot of introverts struggle with dulling the pain. There's a lot of pain in not asking for help and not extroverting and closing within yourself. So just understanding all of this can really help with those problems, I think, and reaching out to someone that can truly relate to you on this type of level. It's it's not it's hard to find people that understand this stuff on this type of level. So I am here. I am here for you. I am here for this community. I am here for the collective. I truly am here for the collective. And just I know this is a long wrap up, but thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. It means the absolute world to me. I am very much so trying to make a difference in this world. And I know there aren't a lot of people into inner work and they're distracted by everyday life and don't have these goals, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm doing it. And I know that there are other people out there doing it. And you know, you might feel isolated, but do keep in mind that your own individual consciousness, all the inner work that you do on yourself, regardless if you're extroverting, regardless if you've got a YouTube channel, regardless of what you are doing, you are making a humongous difference in the global consciousness. It matters. Every single one of us matters. Every single one of us adds to that. So definitely keep that in mind wherever you are in your journey. I wish you the best, and I will see you on the other side.